Ex-cons of Reddit. What was the hardest prison habit to break after being released? I had to completely change my sense of time. I agree with all the people who said they ate super fast, but then we would slowly walk back from the chow hall, any excuse for a few minutes more outside. I made sure I never consolidated enjoyable things. If I had a snack, I ate it and concentrated on it. If there was something good on TV, I watched it. Now I'll snack while I watch a movie because there aren't enough hours in the day, but on the inside, I was trying to make hours and days go away. I've got a good job now and nice respectable friends, but I still react to confrontational situations more quickly, decisively, and efficiently than they do. I'm able to pull back at the last minute, but it's pretty clear that violence is not a tool in their arsenal. I think in the real world, 90% of winning a fight is being willing to fight in the first place. Most people realize very quickly once a fight starts that they don't actually want to fight. Dude I work with said for the first little bit after getting out, he would take a leg out of his pants when he'd crap. Not sure how common that was. Dude's a fighter though, so maybe that had something to do with it. Is it weird that I sometimes do this just because it's more comfortable? It will also allow you full range of motion if, someone busts in on you while you're grunting. Not me, but a guy who worked for me. When things were very busy, I would often get carry-out lunch for everyone and bring it back to the workplace. This one guy would eat a cheeseburger and french fries in 2 minutes. Wow. Once I asked him why he ate so quickly, he said, "Well, Nobsborgma, I spent 7 years in a federal prison, and if you didn't eat your meal in 10 minutes, you didn't get anything. That 10 minutes often included the time it took standing in line to get your food." Okay then. I never said anything to him about it after that. Hey you're a decent human being. You hired an ex-con, keep up the decency. I'm not that great. I lived in a small coastal community on the Gulf of Mexico. Of course, seafood was the main business with lots of small boats and subsistence fishing, crabbing, oystering. The FBI put together a sting and hired 4 fishermen to offload what was supposed to be bags of cocaine onto their boats from a large boat that could not go in shallow water. It was actually not cocaine. They were to be paid $10,000, which was to them almost a year's income. These 4 fishermen were busted and ended up spending 7 years in federal prison, and a prison far, far away from their families. So I had known this young man for years, and for me, his time in prison was like, you screwed up, but whatever. He was funny and hardworking and not really bitter about what happened. He worked for me in my small wholesale seafood business and was great. P.S. I would have no qualms about hiring an ex-con. Not afraid of that, as long as they didn't have 13 tattooed on their forehead. My friend once told me he got hooked on watching news channels and crappy daytime television. He said he also enjoyed listening to AM radio now, even though he knows specific podcasts exist that are more tailored to him. He killed himself 3 years ago after getting a 20-year sentence just 1 year after getting out. Edit. A lot of people asking questions, so I'll just go ahead and clarify here. At 18, he served a little over a year in prison for moving marijuana, got out, violated parole, and got caught moving mass amounts of marijuana and other things like breaking into homes / petty theft, which was going to send him back for at least 15 years. After the jig was up, he had a while where he was allowed to stay at home, where he shot himself with a 9mm pistol in the head. He survived the initial shot, but later died 2 days after going to the hospital. Was a great friend and knew him since elementary school. Top of our graduating class in high school, just too much exposure to the wrong people. That's something our society doesn't talk about. Once these guys get out, a lot of them don't make it long before they commit suicide. It's so effing sad. They survived hell, and I'm not going to argue who deserved it or not. That's not my point. And then finally are released and just can't cope. It's heartbreaking. Edit. A word. I think that guy killed himself because he was going back to prison for 20 years and was probably going to die there anyway. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day. Taking a crap with my underwear up to my thighs to hide my junk. It took a long time to go back to pants around the ankles. I still do that. I forgot it wasn't normal until my girlfriend pointed it out. Constantly looking over my shoulder. By far the hardest condition to break, which I haven't and doubt I ever will, is the constant pessimism and cautious optimism. You see, when you're waiting to work your way through court, get a deal, and get sentenced, you will have your dates changed 50 times, hope for certain things only to be disappointed, and anytime you are told something hopeful, it doesn't work out. As a result, I never get excited for something until it actually happens. When my wife told me we were pregnant, I already knew from her symptoms that she was, but still, you never know for sure till you take the test. I was obviously happy, but because I'm always cautiously optimistic and rarely show emotion, I couldn't feel comfortable or excited until I knew that my developing daughter was healthy. Even then, it didn't really hit me till she was born. You can apply this to anything, especially big events. Getting engaged, planning the wedding, buying a house, anything. I still hear from my wife how I wasn't crazy surprised or excited to be having a kid. I actually was the half of the relationship who was dead set on a kid when my wife supposedly could have gone either way. You just can't get your hopes up or look forward to anything until it's here or has happened. I've been home over 7 years now and with my wife for 6.5. She's truly the catalyst that motivated me to truly change my life and to not give any more of my life to the system, but she'll never know how happy she makes me because she misinterprets my cautious optimism/realism for pessimism or indifference. Now, show this post to your wife. Seriously, it'd be like, you should read this, but I do not want to talk about it. Just think on it. But that's just me. Edit. Holy crap. I guess thousands of people agree. Damn. I second this. It is stupid hard to be vulnerable as a male, and telling her this makes you vulnerable, no doubt. I can only imagine how much harder being vulnerable is for someone that has been to prison, but the emotional intimacy it will develop with your wife is incredibly important. You were probably saying to yourself that saying what you wrote would be too hard, and that is okay. But you already wrote it, so what the hell? I didn't use a fork for a few weeks, ate everything with a spoon without thinking. It's not the most interesting thing, but I hadn't noticed it posted here. I still do this from being in the military. I hate eating with forks. Give me a spoon or some chopsticks. Edit. Thank you. After boot camp, it took me many years to stop eating at a breakneck speed. I still have trouble making myself slow down, and it's been well over a decade. Taking as long as you want in the shower. For the longest time after I got out, I took less than 5-minute showers. My friend did 2.5 in Florida State Prison, said the first thing he did when he got home was shower until all the hot water ran out. Edit. Because this seems to be coming up a lot, this was like 15 years ago. Tankless water heaters weren't really a thing back then. I'm not totally sure if they even existed, and if so, they weren't common in lower-income households. So yes, it was very possible to run out of hot water. Wow, sounds like a weekday for me. It's cool, Eco Bros. I bike to work every day. Doing laps. In prison, every time you get time on the yard, you do laps. Seriously, almost every single person does it too. When you get out, it's hard to break that habit. Oh yeah, this is accurate. This guy went to prison. Pacing back and forth in your pod too to get that little bit of cardio in? Pretty much any time you've got the chance to, LOL. Do some laps, maybe see a few people to get something for when you're locked in, take some crap, then get ready to lock in, only to repeat it again the very next day, every day for the next couple of years. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.